and welcome to our Monday night, August 17th, community update for the Cameron Peak Fire. Currently, the Cameron Peak Fire is at 13,306 acres, and at this time there have been no structures or facilities that have been damaged. This is a full suppression fire. Tonight, we're going to have updates from our Rocky Mountain Incident Management Blue Team Operations Section Chief, our Blue Team Incident Commander, as well as our Blue Team Incident Meteorologist. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bo Kidd. I'm an Operations Section Chief with the Rocky Mountain Blue Team, and we're going to go through the afternoon update for operations on the Cameron Peak Fire. So, as you can see, no major perimeter growth today. It was less active than the last couple of days, and operations were still focused in the same areas, down in the Long Draw Reservoir Road area, up here off of the 103 road in the Laramie River Valley, and then also along the corridor of Highway 14 doing structure protection. So I'll start here on the southwest and I'll move around the map and end back at the same spot. So here in Division Whiskey today, the Long Draw Reservoir Road, we completed a burnout to tie the fire back into the Highway 14 corridor. So the burnout is a necessary tool that we have in our pocket to eliminate the fuels in between the control line and the active fire. So we can control the fire's intensity a little bit better. We have a better probability of successfully holding our control lines. The intent for the rest of the afternoon was to bring that fire out to the highway and ultimately just secure this area so we have what we call an anchor point. An anchor point is where we can start, build off our control lines, and work towards perimeter control. Okay, moving up to the Laramie River Road. No real active fire behavior up in the Raywa Mountains in this area. We still were putting some effort into the West Branch area and securing what's up there at that facility. And we put some sprinklers. We had some heavy equipment in there today, a dozer that was putting another control feature around the facility to improve our chances of successfully not allowing the fire to burn into that area. Operations up to the north, we're focused on putting in our control lines using heavy equipment, dozers, feller bunchers. We got a lot of more tools in our toolbox today to make that happen. We had a timber specialist from the forest, the Arapahoe Roosevelt, come up today and help us figure out what the best utilization of those resources are. So we actually picked a control feature that's a little bit closer to the fire. It's not all the way up here off the Pearl Beaver Road and the 80 Charlie Road, 80C. It's a little bit closer to the fire. So that ultimately gives us a little bit closer footprint, smaller footprint, and less area for the fire to grow up to the north. We're still evaluating that. We believe it's going to take about 5 to 7 days to get those lines in place and ready to receive fire as it moves up to the north. Okay, moving around here into Division Romeo off the Manhattan Road. Operations were focused on providing the structure prep and protection in that area, and they were successful at completing that operation along the Manhattan Road and are now working on the Highway 14 corridor down towards the Pingree Park Road. Okay, moving around to the Pingree Park Road in Division Uniform. They feel like they have a pretty good line down here to the CSU campus. They're working on taking some of the fuels out there right along what we're going to use as our control line, and then doing preparations around the CSU campus down here. So once again, perimeter control, we're looking at a full suppression fire and, bigger footprint or smaller footprint than what we were initially planning, and that's a good thing. So why do we use these tactics, the big box? And that's because firefighter safety is of utmost concern for us. We want to make sure that we have a safe operation out there, that we take care of our firefighters, that they can do their jobs safely. And we feel like this gives us better option for being offensive instead of defensive. We're going to try and implement these plans under conditions that are favorable to us and not favorable for the fire to have like extreme fire behavior, and we can kind of moderate those conditions as we implement our plan. So, yep, full suppression, burnouts. There was a couple of questions that came in about burnouts. And, ultimately, we're looking at some burnouts around the whole perimeter of the fire as we get these indirect control lines complete and burning those under our terms and completing those under the right conditions to hold them. Night burnouts, Somebody asked a question about night burnouts, and yes, that's a viable option, and sometimes the conditions are favorable for that, but there's a certain point in time where the conditions drop, the RHs get up too high to allow the fire to consume the fuels. And so it's important to find that what we call a window. It's a narrow spectrum of when the fire is controllable. We burn it and it's controllable, and then on the low end it's not going to burn and consume those fuels, and it could be problematic long term. So now I'm going to kick it over to the fire weather, give you an update on what's to come. Thank you.
Good evening, Darren Calebo, incident meteorologist for the Rocky Mountain Blue Team. Today was pretty quiet on the fire. Myself and our fire behavior analyst were up on the fire line for several hours this afternoon, and the winds were extremely light. Temperatures were in the upper 70s, mid 70s, and that relative humidity was down around 15%. Because we had such light winds, the smoke column that the fire was actually putting up was spreading up and over the fire. There are 4 real weather factors that we need to consider when looking for extreme fire behavior. One is temperatures. If they're 80 or higher, that tends to make this fire blow up. 2, relative humidity is less than 10%. 3, wind speeds in excess of 15 miles per hour. And 4, sunshine. Sunshine is really one of the key things. And since today we had relatively light winds, that took that key away from the meteorological puzzle. With the light winds, we put a smoke column up and it basically shadowed our own fire. So the sun wasn't able to hit the fuels to warm the fuels up. And it was a very good thing. The fire did not exhibit much in terms of extreme fire behavior or large fire runs today. So going forward over the next few days, what we're going to see is we're going to see temperatures in the 70s. Our relative humidity is going to be above that 10% range, probably more in the 15 to 25% range. We are going to see northerly winds from 10 to 20 miles per hour, which is kind of borderline in terms of that intense fire weather that could be out there. But the last thing we're going to talk about is sunshine. The next few days we're going to get some cloud cover. There's some more moisture moving in. There's a chance of thunderstorms. And in addition, not only is there the cloud cover, but we are expecting to get smoke from the fire shadowing our own fire. And so over the next 3 or 4 or 5 days, we're not expecting a huge push for the fire. We are going to get a northerly wind, which is going to put this fire in alignment with the higher terrain to the south and the higher terrain to the west. So it's going to want to push to the south and to the southwest with those northerly winds. However, with the shadowing that's out there, we don't anticipate any extreme fire behavior. We do have some showers and thunderstorms in the area tonight. Most of those are east of Fort Collins. Those aren't going to impact the fire today, but we are anticipating the possibility of thunderstorms over the next few days. And we're not looking for a lot of rain. With thunderstorms, little rain, we could see some lightning, which may lead to additional starts in the area, and we'll be sure to watch those as they come about. Up next, we'll be hearing from our incident commander.
Good evening, Michael Hayden, Incident Commander, Rocky Mountain Blue Team. So thus far you've been hearing from operations and our meteorologist. That directly impacts what's going on the fire out there on the hill. I wanted to talk briefly about why the incident management team's here, what we actually do, and what some of our overall goals are next. So with that said, we're here for the reasons you all live here. We're here because there's a beautiful forest on fire. There are recreational values out there. Is the greenback cutthroat trout. There are beautiful forests, campgrounds, a whole bunch of things that everyone that lives here most likely really enjoys, and we're in the same boat. The values of most firefighters really align with everything that's taking place right now. Now, one of the biggest questions we're receiving right now is full suppression. We're hearing you're doing full suppression. What exactly does that mean? So full suppression means when we get here, we work for the Forest Service brought us in, all the partners come to the table, and we get really clear direction. When we hear the words full suppression, that means go put it out. Find a way to go out there and make that fire go away. And that's most likely what just about everyone watching this broadcast is after also. While we understand that fire is a natural part of the landscape, this time of year, fire is not something we want moving around unchecked. What we have out here are continuous fuels. We have fuels in a lot of directions. So full suppression for incident management teams means all the operations people are going out there, finding all of these natural features on the lands, great roads, waterways, anything that hopefully will change the behavior of fire as it's moving across the hillside. So full suppression for us, we're out there. That's exactly what's taking place right now. Now, does that mean all the firefighters are going straight to the fire edge and working on putting it out? That's not safe. That's how we've gotten a lot of people killed in the past. And we've learned a lot of lessons from that. So the resources that are out there, they're going out, finding roads that line up, places they can put in small fuel breaks, remove fuels, places where they're going to remove some of the fuels but put in potentially sprinklers or some line or lighten up the tree cover. That's what's happening right now. Now, resources. I'm not going to lie, we're limited on resources right now, and that's due to several factors. One, we've got the Pine Gulch fire over by Grand Junction. It's 85,000 acres. That's consuming a lot of resources trying to get that wrapped up and contained. The Grizzly Fire, many people have heard about that. It's right along the Highway 70 corridor near Glenwood Springs. It shut down the highway. It's impacting thousands of people. And also the Williams Fork Fire, which is just south of here and is in some really rough country as well, and it's also of major concern. So resources. We're working with the other fires right now, trying to share resources. We've sent just about everything we have out, and we're calling from resources all over the nation. What we do is we share them, we get them out there, and we put them to work at the right place and the right time. So right now, as it's moving out, and we've looked on the progression map, it's moving towards things that a lot of us hold very dear, homes, communities, things like that. We know the importance of getting out there and doing some great work. There's Crystal Lake, Red Feathers, and Glacier View. Some of many communities out there, people are very concerned. What I can say is a bunch of fuels work's been done out there. And that fuels work, that reducing some of the available fuels out there in the forest is going to be huge for suppressing this fire. So right now, when it's in thicker timber and it's slowly moving its way down, it's really hard for us to go what we call direct, which is right to the edge of the fire and put it out. We can back off a little bit, still full suppression, use some of these broken fuels, tie them together, and at the right time, hopefully start to really slow this fire's forward progression. So I really wanted to highlight how important some of those fuels treatments were. Now, with that said, the resources that are coming in, even though we know they're limited, there's still a whole lot of them. And we are getting a lot of those resources right now. You'll see them rolling into town and hopefully out to the fire. Once they're out there, let's face it, we're in COVID times, they're going to stay out there. But you're going to have a lot of people doing a lot of great work in the very near future. So once again, that's why the Rocky Mountain Blue Team is here. We know there's a lot of questions coming in. We really appreciate them because it allows us to hopefully give you the information you need. The partners coming on board, thus far, we started with mostly Forest Service. We anticipate the Park Service is going to be joining us as soon as tomorrow. The partners down in town, the communities, they're right there in lockstep with the decision making right now and helping us in a whole bunch of different ways. So from the Blue Team, thank you very much. That's an update for today.
Well, thank you again for joining us for our community update. We'll be here again tomorrow, same place, same time. And for those of you that are hearing impaired, we will be loading captions into this video, and we'll have that up shortly later this evening. Thank you very much.